the mystery behind the value of the chainsaw has been given to us. Lore behind the character itself, not just Denji, but the chainsaw's power, as well as how it performed in Hell, was finally revealed in this chapter, as well as Makima's plan and how exactly it's going to really kind of play on this. I figured the Hell Devil wasn't fully done. Like, the Hell Devil definitely seemed a lot smaller and didn't seem as powerful as what we saw, like, when it was summoned before. And, somebody who can interfere with one of the primal devils. So I figured that it's got to be a lot stronger. So this one that was summoned was probably just only up to the level that, like, would suffice with the amount of, like, the level of sacrifice that it was given to it. So I figured that the Hell Devil, because, like, when you saw it given blood, it brought out this hand that instantly just kind of squashed on Denji and brought him into hell. So brought him right back out into hell. And then you see Kishibe confront Makima, as well as we find out more about, like, more about her whole setup and more about exactly how she's doing all this, how she's kind of, like, getting away with as much as she's been getting away with. Like, she reveals that she made a contract with the Prime Minister, and any damage to her will resort in being transferred into a random Japanese citizen, either an accident or sickness. So she has pretty much put in place a means to keep her from dying. The only way that she can really die is seemingly from the chainsaw, because, like, Kishibe's talking about them. It's like, oh, your chainsaw devil has been cast back into hell, and she's discussing that she's a fan of the chainsaw. Not Denji, but the chainsaw itself. Calls him the hero of hell, and you get this amazing spread, very reminiscent of, like, the first chapter. If you go back and look at when Denji first, like, was climbing over those zombies with his chainsaws out, and then you see this as the Chainsaw Man, and he's in this higher end form, but you have, instead of just random zombies, you have a ton of these very scary looking devils all going for Denji, to where Denji's just slicing through them. He's just completely mutilating these guys as they approach him. And you find out essentially the chainsaw was like this, essentially like this anti-hero of hell. He was just this roaming calamity. And the cries and screams of devils would attract him. So he would show up, but not only kill the attacking devils, but also the weaker devils that were seeking his aid. He just slashes up everything in his pathway, every single, like, demon thing that just kind of, like, gets within his zone. He just completely mutilates them. And as we know, that he can be healed up by devil blood. So I'm wondering if that was a hybrid thing, or if that's specifically the chainsaw's power. Because the way that I really see the chainsaw is, the devils are more powerful the way that they are feared. Like, the more that you fear them, the more powerful that they become. And I'm wondering if the base kind of, like, origin of the strength that came for the chainsaw was the fact that he could get up after, like, after he's been beaten, as long as he has blood of any kind. Obviously, if he can feed off of devils, that's going to scare devils, because that's just probably what started to really kind of rise him up. And because of that fear, being feared by other devils, it just made him more powerful, more powerful, more powerful. And then they said, Makima saying that some even worship him. They just see that he is the devil that other devils are most afraid of. And the reason that is also is a power that he has. And that is that if he eats another devil, their names are erased from existence. And Makima not only gave us this information, but she explains exactly what she means by that and how exactly that works. Well, Kishibe doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that a power like that exists, because, keep in mind, that's a ridiculously crazy kind of ability. You are essentially undoing stuff from happening in history if you are able to consume the devil that is linked to them. What's interesting about the devils, I don't know if you can hear that beep, so that sometimes my headset will, like, have some weird, like, connection check, and I don't know if it goes through. I think so. But essentially, the devils are linked to the concept of whatever they're the devil of. The devil of sand, or the devil of I'm trying to think of another one. I guess in this one, AIDS. Like, is there like anything the devil is formed of, then linked to, if Denji eats them, is gone, is completely wiped out. And again, that is extremely interesting because of the way that it's presented. Like Makima like goes and like while trying to explain it to him, just like, do you remember what the Nazis did to the Jews? And Kishibe doesn't know what that is. He's like, Nazis. And Makima's explaining a bunch of these things, like Nazis, World War II, AIDS, nuclear weapons. Essentially, because people feared them, because people were afraid of them, a devil formed in, in representation of it. Like, obviously, the fear of the Nazi threat, way back during, that time in history, a devil came of that, a Nazi devil. And the chainsaw killed and ate it, so the knowledge of them vanished and the existence of them vanished from reality. And the same thing with like AIDS and stuff. It's crazy to think about because this means that all these things erased from their world are thanks to the chainsaw. The chainsaw has just made the world slightly better by defeating the devils. And that's one of the things I really like about the concept behind like Denji is he's using this devil's dark power in order to do good things. I always really like that. I think that's a very popular like presentation of a character's power, that taking something bad and using it for good. And Denji, not even just Denji, the chainsaw itself is essentially the biggest, baddest like active devil, and because of that he ends up doing good sometimes after consuming a devil and ridding the world of them. And Makima is explaining that there are other things that were part of the world that aren't there anymore because of the chainsaw. Like humans used to have a sixth sense, like a light that would break the minds of children. Like after she's explaining, like after the end of human lifespan, there used to be 4 other conclusions besides just death. So there were 4 other just ways that you would eventually become. That's really weird to think about, 5 options when you get old enough, and then just the idea of that existing, but not anymore because of the and how she's presenting it. Because I figured with Makima's thing being the control devil, the fact that she's not like she's not more of like a vicious kind of theme. It's the idea of control, but she's doing it I figured she'd be doing it in kind of like, in her mind, a good way. Is she wants to fight the chainsaw man and eventually win. She wants to win because then she can take control of him, because she can control people that believe to be below her. So if she's able to get control of the chainsaw, she says that like war, hunger, death, if he can eat the devils linked to that, then the world can be a better place. And even if the idea of like her getting eaten by the chainsaw, she's like, I've already said I'm kind of a fan of his, so it would be a great honor for that to happen to me. And then Denji just cuts his way out of the door that he was in hell and just comes right back out looking like an absolute unit falling out of there. Like, it's such an interestingly crazy concept, but it fits so well with Chainsaw Man, and I'm very happy to see this series just evolve as it's doing, get bigger and badder and crazier than as the series progresses. And I love that about Chainsaw Man. I've always really loved that about the series, and I can't wait to see how this all plays out. Like, how exactly is this going to really kind of evolve throughout the story? What is Denji's next threat? Like, now that we know this about him, now that we know about what Denji is capable of, and how exactly he can kind of like make the world better, but like he has this option to essentially rewrite aspects of reality if he can take down any of these devils and eat them. But that also means there's a way to fully kill the devils, because the devils themselves are, like I said, linked to what they represent. So like Makima as like this control, like if he ate Makima, it would completely eliminate control from reality. If people couldn't be controlled, like, I don't know what that would really kind of like lead to. Maybe people would never have the idea of like having control over another person, and just that idea in somebody's head would never form. I'm very curious. It's like, if something were erased, say something were erased, something like I said, they said AIDS, would it be impossible for something to reform, or is it like a full reset? Like, is it they can never becoming like a thing again? Because devils are formed by fear, so they're almost just like the idea of them creates them. So I'm wondering if you have a devil that's eaten by the chainsaw, and you had Spider, you had Prinz. She is the spider devil. If you ate her, the fear of spiders would just go away, and I assume spiders as well. But what would happen if somebody genetically created a spider or something? Like, would then a spider's reform? I'm trying to think of something. It'd be a little hard with like a creature, but like maybe the fear of heights. Would people just stop being afraid of heights, and then like eventually somebody would look and see like be high up and then be afraid of it, and then the devil would reform? There's obviously, like I said, there's questions. There's still stuff to always be answered. But this is a really big step. This is a really big thing in Chainsaw Man for us to move forward and for us to really just see what's next. So definitely excited to see how this goes. I'm hoping Denji gets better. I really want him to be fixed back up because like it's knowing that while he's like this, he's just in this inner pain and he's probably really thinking about his dad and all the people that have been hurt because of him. I'm really hoping that we could see Denji pull through and really kind of just really get back on his feet as himself. Obviously, he's still fighting, but that's not really him. Anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, prefer the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.